Why do we crave the approval of others? Why does their opinion hold so much sway over our self-esteem? It's an interesting facet of human behavior, this constant quest for validation. We've been groomed by evolution and societal norms to seek approval, to fit in, to be accepted. We're in a never-ending chase, running after shadows of acceptance and appreciation. It's like being at a party. You're telling a joke and you pause, waiting for laughter. That pause, that anticipation, is where the craving for validation sneaks in. It's a subtle yet powerful force making us adapt, making us mold ourselves into what we think others want us to be. This chase, this quest, it's exhausting. It leaves us feeling empty and unfulfilled. But there's another way. You could liberate yourself from this constant need for approval. Imagine being a prisoner, but the bars of your cell are the opinions of others. A chilling thought, isn't it? Yet this is the reality for many who seek validation from the world around them. This invisible prison, constructed from the bricks of external validation, can be a stifling place where self-worth is dependent on the appraisal of others. Like a marionette dancing to the whims of its puppeteer, the individual becomes enslaved to the views of others. They become reactive, their actions and choices dictated by the anticipated reactions of their peers. This is not freedom, but a life lived in servitude to the court of public opinion, a life filled with uncertainty and wavering confidence. And what of self-esteem? When validation is sought externally, it's akin to building a house on shifting sands. The foundation of self-esteem becomes unstable, prone to the changing tides of others' perspectives. Self-esteem should be a fortress, built upon the bedrock of self-love and self-acceptance, not a fragile construct, easily toppled by a passing breeze of criticism. Then there's the suppression of one's true self. The mask we wear to please others obscures the face beneath. The authentic self, with its unique quirks and individuality, gets buried under the weight of conformity. The great philosopher Socrates once said, "To thine own self be true." But how can one be true to oneself if they are constantly altering their identity to fit the mold dictated by others? This relentless pursuit of external validation breeds unfulfillment and dissatisfaction. It's a thirst that's never quenched, a hunger never sated. The cycle is unending, the pursuit tireless, and the reward fleeting and hollow. In this prison of validation, we are not just prisoners, but also our own jailers. The bars that confine us are of our own making, and thus can be of our own unmaking. The shackles of external validation can be heavy, but they are not unbreakable. The key to your cell, it's been in your pocket all along. It's time to unlock the cell, to step into the light of self-acceptance and break free from the chains of validation. The journey to freedom begins from within. Let's take a journey back in time to ancient Greece. There was a man named Diogenes who allegedly lived in a barrel. Now, this isn't your typical tale of heroism or grandeur. No, this is a story of a man who defied societal norms, who chose to live in a barrel rather than a house, who sought happiness not in the approval of others but in his own self-sufficiency. This man was Diogenes, the cynic philosopher, a figure of great intrigue and curiosity. Diogenes valued freedom above all else. He believed that societal norms and expectations were shackles that bounded the human spirit. He was a staunch advocate for self-sufficiency and believed that one's happiness should not be dependent on the validation of others. In his own unconventional way, Diogenes demonstrated the ultimate act of defying external validation. When Alexander the Great, arguably the most powerful man in the world at the time, came to meet him, Diogenes didn't stand up or show any reverence. Instead, he simply asked Alexander to move out of his sunlight. In that moment, Diogenes showed the world that he did not require the validation of even the most powerful man alive to find his peace. Diogenes' life was a testament to the power of self-validation. He was content with his simple life in a barrel, his freedom, and his philosophical ideas. His happiness was not dictated by material wealth, societal approval, or the respect of influential figures. He found joy in his own existence, in his own thoughts, and in his own freedom. Now, we aren't suggesting you move into a barrel or reject every societal norm. But there's a lesson to be learned from Diogenes. That lesson is the power of self-validation, the beauty of independence from the judgment of others, and the freedom that comes from not seeking external validation. Diogenes might have been extreme in his methods, but his message is clear. True freedom lies in not seeking external validation. So how can we apply this ancient wisdom to our modern lives? Let's start by cultivating self-awareness. It's about recognizing our emotions, understanding our strengths and weaknesses, and acknowledging our desires. It's like becoming an explorer of your inner world. This journey may not be easy, but it's the first step towards breaking free from the chains of external validation. Next, we have self-acceptance. Embrace your uniqueness. Love your imperfections. They make you who you are, and who you are is enough. You don't need to fit into anyone else's mold or live up to anyone else's expectations. Lastly, focus on your internal goals. These are the goals that align with your values and passions, not what others think you should be doing. It's about pursuing what makes you feel fulfilled, not what makes you look good in the eyes of others. Remember, the only approval you ever need is your own. Imagine a world where you are free from the shackles of external validation. Picture waking up each morning with a sense of liberation, knowing that you are not bound by the opinions of others. Your self-worth is no longer tied to the applause or criticism of the crowd. It's a world where you can be unapologetically you, expressing your thoughts, ideas and emotions without fear of judgment. In this newfound freedom, you'll discover a profound sense of self-confidence. The kind that is not easily swayed by external forces, but rather rooted in your own understanding and acceptance of who you are. Authenticity becomes your guiding principle, allowing you to live out your truth with integrity and courage. In this world, inner peace is no longer an elusive concept, but a tangible reality. It's a peace that stems from the knowledge that your worth is intrinsic, not borrowed or bestowed. The journey may be challenging, but the destination is worth it. It's time to break free. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. Let's keep the conversation going. What experiences have you went through that made you struggled with self-validation? Remember to be kind in the comments section below. Take care now.